Senator, you probably have heard the news already this morning. What Secretary Mnuchin said was that last deal we were about 90% there, and I have hopes that now we can get the remaining 10%, which makes it sound like he's saying that the 90% is still on the table, and that's where I'm wondering whether that really is the story. When the 90% was on the table, when China backtracked on all those different areas that we talked about, do we know whether that's changed? Do we know whether we're 90% there now, or had we been at 90% back then, and we may not be there now? Do you know?
Joe, I think it's the first time I've heard a number around it, but in our conversations with Secretary Mnuchin and USTR Lighthizer, who are the two people really negotiating this, we had been told that they were very close, and I guess that's the 90%, but then that China had walked back. So you're probably right. Probably we were very close. And they'd walk back some of the structural changes, probably on the subsidies side and probably on the tech transfer side, both of which are really important to actually having a deal that makes sense for us. So, look, I think we are in a situation where, at a minimum, we're going to jumpstart the talks, thanks to this meeting with President Xi and President Trump. That's a good thing. We need to be back at the table. We really haven't had serious negotiations for almost 6 weeks now. And second, I do think there's a way to move forward on this. So I think it's a positive statement, but we were probably, 90% there, and then they walked back last time. Hopefully they'll be willing to come back to the table with a more genuine effort.
So, Senator, should we hope for an agreement to keep talking, or should we hope for something actually substantial to be signed, where we're ready to go right now? Do you really think it's possible that we do anything more than just sort of delay more tariffs, maybe even take off some of the ones we have now, but really still just agree to talk for the next 6 months or so? Do you think it's possible to actually arrive at a deal where some of these issues are solved?
Yeah, I think it is possible. And I think what will happen is there will be a commitment to, again, start the talks again in earnest. And there might even be some exchange of some ideas on how to break through some of the logjam that we had about 6 weeks ago with regard to, again, some of these structural issues that are more difficult for China to focus on. I think there's also a possibility that President Trump will be willing, with that commitment, to be able to postpone some of the so-called phase 4 or fourth tier tariffs. So we'll see. But I think it's positive news. And look, we'll see what happens on Saturday. It's coming up quickly.
It is coming up quickly. Nothing. It's been a little bit quiet on the Iran front recently. Do you have comments on that, or where we stand right now? What you expect to happen? I guess it's a real wild card at this point, isn't it? But it seems like, I don't know whether we're on the cusp of something that gets worse or something where everybody pulls back. Do you have a feeling there?
Well, again, there's been an overture by us to say, let's talk. And I think that's a positive development. You can't call downing the unmanned aerial surveillance plane a positive development, but in the aftermath of that, not to move forward with these strikes, although we did apparently move forward with some things on the cyber front. But then the overture from us to talk and the ability now to at least have a conversation is probably viewed as positive.